Hello, welcome. I'm going to now go over the course, the lab website. So here's the lab website for the physics PHY 2048. All right, so let's go to the lab website. Let's go to contents area. Okay, I've set up 14 labs, 14 experiments. So roughly one a week. Okay, and all these labs use online simulations. Okay, so for instance, let's click on the vectors lab. Okay, so here's a vectors lab. This lab is worth 20 points. Here's a write-up on the lab, a brief introduction to vectors. And here's a link to the simulation. Okay, and so I've already uploaded, gone to that site. So here's a link to that simulation. Okay, now here's what you need to do. So here's the experiment. Here are the instructions to do the experiment. So I have all these various questions that I want you to answer. Okay, so let's go to this document. I've downloaded this document. So here's the document. Okay, so here's how you do the experiment. So as you do the experiment, answer the questions below, record your results here in this document, and then you'll submit these answers in the lab quiz on the lab course website. Okay, so let's see what we need to do. So the first question says, click on the Explore 2D icon. So click on the Explore 2D icon. All right, so we're here. And then it says, drag vector A onto the main grid. Stretch vector A so that its magnitude is 25 units and the x component is 20 units. Okay, so we want vector A here. Okay, and right now the magnitude of vector A is 10 units. What you want is for it to be 25 units. There is 25 units. And they also say they want the x component to be 20 units. Right now the x component is 15 units. So there, the x component is 20 units. Okay, so now we have set up the vector like they asked us to do. Magnitude of 25 units and x component of 20 units. And then what is the y component? So now they're asking you what is the y component of this vector, and the y component of this vector is 15 units. Okay, so there's your answer. You would put 15 units. You mark that. Answer all these questions. Do all of this. Okay, and then now let's come back to the course website. So there was the lab. There was the lab. Now what you do is you would go to the quiz and you click on the vectors lab quiz. Okay, and now what happened? Okay, so okay, I have to preview this. Okay, so go to the vector labs quiz. You when as a student you would just start the quiz. So you would start the quiz, and for each question you would enter your answer. So for the first question our answer was 15 and so on. Enter your answers here and then submit the quiz. Okay, and then you get your quiz grade. All right, so you will be doing 14 labs and your lab grades will show up here. Okay, all right, so my suggestion is, again, you do one lab a week. Okay, and that way you'll be on pace to complete everything on time. All right, if you have any questions, send me an email, or we could set up a Zoom meeting and I'll answer any questions you have. Okay, good luck and enjoy.